Good evening, everyone. My name is Nicholas Lark, and today we'll be talking about control theory. So, control theory, the objective: compare ways the different versions of control theory explains conformity. So, for me, when I first looked at this, I thought about control as in, people controlling others. And in some way, it's talking about that, but on a deeper level of control, if that makes sense. So we're not just talking about controlling over others, but controlling how people feel, their emotions, and why people do what they do most of the time. And after looking at these PowerPoints and looking at the video, I hope that it gives you a better understanding and kind of get a insight of what I'm generally looking at and what my brain is getting from control theory. So without further ado, let's get started on everything else. Control theory 2, lack of control balance. So when I first looked at this, I was trying to figure out or try to understand, what does the lack of control balance mean? And so from what I got from it, the lack of control balance is, knowing when to stop. A lot of times people feel like you got to control somebody, or you feel like you have to control the situation 24/7, when sometimes you don't have to. Sometimes controlling the situation goes to a certain extent and to a certain limit, and sometimes you just have to learn how to let it go. And I feel like a lot of times, and just in this society, people don't know the difference, or people don't understand when to stop or when to keep going. Because a lot of times some people give up too early, and let the situation take control of them. Whereas you have to sometimes know when to control it, and you have to know when to stop letting it control you. Control theory 3. Basically talking about youngins, how can they commit crimes and the techniques. So getting from this, the control comes from obviously somebody older from them. Kids don't just wake up and just decide, oh, I'm going to commit a crime. No, they obviously got it from somebody else, or they got taught by somebody else by being a visual learner. And by them being a visual learner, that's somewhat of controlling their minds by seeing what you do, and for them, for them to believe that is good. So to them, you're not controlling their mind physically, but in some way you're controlling them mentally. Control theory 4, propose shaming as a form of social control. A lot of people shame people, and I feel like in this society, or even the old society, people do this on a consistent day-to-day basis. Controlling somebody else by shaming them is not good. Controlling them by shaming them is bad. I feel like the only way you can control somebody, or the only way you can control them by shaming, is unless you haven't done no wrong. And I'm pretty sure if everybody was to look in the mirror, everybody done something wrong. But people try to look past that, and people try to continue to shame people for their own social control, because nobody likes to get shamed. Definitely nobody likes to get shamed in public. So if somebody knows that you can do it to them publicly, it will affect them, and you will have them in the palm of your hands like a puppet. Control theory 5. Basically, general and specific. I feel like I said, going back to control theory 4, the general is basically the social. It's like a generation thing. So the general is just like the population itself. You can control somebody, like kids picking on other kids, or Pacific, you can do it by one-on-one, with a person. Like I said, kind of based off going back to 4, so I'm not going to really go deep on about it. And the last one, evaluating control theory. Control theory, in my evaluation, nobody should do it. Nobody should try to control nobody unless you're trying to control yourself. But if we can work on that as a group or as a whole, I feel like the world will be a better place, not just for us, but for the future generation to come. And this is my video. I hope you got an understanding, and have a good evening.